Do you want to stay in that cycle?
No.
So why right now are you choosing it?
I think it's really just because I'm scared. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
just lose on 8 grand, you know?
And I can appreciate that there's a bit of fear there. Because like I've been in your seat before, so there's no judgment on my end. But when it comes down to fear, there's really two types of fear.
What's up? What's up? How are you?
I'm not doing too bad, just staying out of trouble, dude. We can definitely dive on into everything. First and foremost, how can I help, man? What made you want to go ahead and book in the call?
I honestly just kind of saw your content, wanted to learn a bit more about like what you actually do for salespeople and kind of go from there.
Yeah, cool, man. Like what I do, it's like it's not like a one size fits all. It's a bit custom, so it's just going to depend
Hmm.
on like what you would actually need.
Hmm.
So, as far as you getting better at sales, do you know what type of help you're actually looking for specifically?
Um, Probably like objection handling to be specific.
Okay. Any particular objection that comes up the most?
Uh, I'd probably say like think about it or partner, like these kind
Okay.
of like yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of an interesting question that I like to ask all salespeople. Do you feel like those are real objections?
I mean like partially because like maybe they need to speak to their partner or like they really
Yeah.
do need to think about it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it, man. I would say, like when it does come to the actual process that you're actually using right now, do you have a specific process in place, or how do you currently go about your calls?
And when you mean process like a script or
Yeah, are you using like a script, a sales process? Like how typically are you conducting these calls?
I mean like I just have like a basic script like the agency gave me.
Okay.
Been watching some of your videos and tweaked it a little bit, but like
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it.
Well, how long have you been doing that for?
About like 2 months now.
Okay. And cool. Well, what caused you to just go with the basic agency script that they gave you?
Well, it's didn't really have anything else I could choose, you know.
I mean, you could definitely that's one way to think about it, man. But if you do take a look back at the calls that you're having right now, I guess like what do you feel like you might be maybe saying or not saying on these calls, or maybe how you're coming across your tone, all these different things that could be, I guess, like causing these objections at the end to think about it, the partners.
Shoot, I don't even know.
Well, if you thought about it, man, if I'm not on your calls, so it's like, what do you feel like you might be, saying or not saying?
Mm. Like in the discovery?
Yeah, like just through the whole sales process.
Um, hmm, I feel like maybe on like the objection handling, I maybe just don't go as
Uh,
deep, possibly.
well, what do you mean you don't go as deep?
Because like maybe they'll just say partner. It's like, oh, okay, like I'll just give you some time to talk to the partner, and then we'll just book
Right.
another call. And
Yeah, yeah. Well, when it comes to that, is there any particular reason why you don't go as deep?
well, I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, like I don't really know exactly what to kind of say to go as deep. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's like first and foremost, like what are you currently saying? Like, if somebody tells you like, "Hey, I need to talk to the partner," are you just like letting them off the call, or is there something you do to try to get underneath that?
Well, I mean, I'll try to find out what they're trying to talk to the
Uh-huh.
partner about.
Okay.
But then aside from that, it's like, like what else can I do? I'm like give them some time to talk, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could. Can I make a suggestion around that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if somebody tells you that they need to talk to their partner, and if we believe that that's a real objection, how on any level are we going to help them overcome that and actually get them to buy on the call?
Never really thought of it like that. Probably
Yeah.
never,
Well,
to be honest.
yeah. Well, why not?
Hmm. I mean, if I think that's an objection, right, then like a
Mhm.
real objection, then it's just
Yeah.
like there's nothing I could do to get around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like you're gonna maybe have a little bit of a tough time because at the end of the day, man, does what you sell, does it actually solve the problems of the people you're talking to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and when they hop on, because what do you sell again?
Yeah, it's like a lead gen service
Okay.
for weight loss clinics, yeah.
Yeah. And when they hop on, are they thinking to themselves, no matter what he says, if it sounds like the perfect thing ever, I'm just going to tell him I need to think about it and then hurry off the call? Do you think like they're saying that at the beginning to themselves?
Probably not.
So what do you feel like you might be saying or not saying like throughout the process that's causing them to give you these think about it or partner objections, if we know like they're not even coming into the call with that on their mind?
Um, I feel like it's either maybe like the
Mm.
price that's the issue, right?
Okay.
Of the
Yep.
service, and then maybe like during the discovery, I'm just not going possibly like to build that urgency, right? Where like they feel like they should be buying on the call. You
Yeah.
get what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, and we can take two of those, right? Because when we're talking about the price, like do they get a good ROI?
Yeah. I mean, like you definitely make your money. It's just
Yeah. So do you feel like, it's worth the price and other people have bought it?
right. I do.
Okay. So what do you feel like you're not doing, or maybe you are doing, that's causing them to focus more on the price rather than the value you give?
Mm. Hmm. I mean, it's a great question. I mean, it could be like maybe they just don't have it in their bank, like the money.
Hmm.
So of course they're gonna be looking at the money. Because like
Yeah.
I go through the process and I feel like they can
Uh-huh.
see it, but it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe they just don't have the money.
Yeah, and there are going to be sometimes people don't have money. I guess what if it wasn't what you thought it was, man?
What do you mean?
Because if I were to sell you a $300,000 Lamborghini for
Hmm.
$10,000, you think you would find the money?
Probably.
Okay. Why?
Because I mean, it's a really good return on my 10 grand.
Yeah, it's like, dude, the value is unquestionable. So right now, like, you'll find the money. Like people get resourceful if it makes sense, if there's enough urgency there. So what do you feel like
Hmm.
right now is preventing you from being able to actually build that urgency and make sure they're this focusing on the value rather than just the price they put down?
Yeah, it's probably like building that urgency and really showing them the value behind, like showing them how they're going
Yeah.
to be getting a return. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you feel like right now, just with your skill set of what you're doing, is preventing you from being able to actually build that urgency in the people you're talking to?
It could be maybe the fact that I probably like during like
Uh-huh.
near the end of the call when I try getting like a consequence or like I don't go as deep during discovery,
Yep.
like stuff like that, where it just is it's hard to build that urgency.
Okay. And is the reason why you're not going as deep is you just don't know how? We're scared we're gonna get judged. Like what's actually going on, man?
Um, it's a bit of like don't know how, but then also like
Uh-huh.
fear of asking the wrong question.
Yeah. No, I can get it, man. I've definitely been there before. And you
Hmm.
not knowing how or just we're fearful of asking the right question. How do you feel like this is actually impacting your ability to get these deals across the line?
I mean, definitely a lot. I think I would say
In what way?
because like if I can't get through discovery correctly,
Mhm.
right, then that
Yeah.
just kind of tosses the whole call out the
Yeah.
window, and then even in objection handling. If I just let these objections become real ones in my mind, then I'm like never gonna close anyone.
Yeah. And how many objections are we running into right now? Let's say on a weekly basis. Like how many calls are we getting and how many are those ending up in an objection?
I would say like 95% of them are ending up in an objection.
Okay. Well, how many calls are we getting?
Right now, about per week, like I'm talking to,
Yeah.
um, about like 25.
Okay. So about 25. Is it sometimes lower, sometimes higher? Is that like the average?
Yeah, I'll like say 23 to be safe, 23.
Okay. 23 calls. And let's talk about last week. How many sales did you make?
Maybe like three.
Maybe?
Yeah, like
Okay.
like three.
Okay. So we closed three last week, 23. So right now we're closing at 13%. That number sound right?
I don't like it, but yeah.
And how much is a sale worth to you? Because it's going to be a bit different, but like how much do you get commissions per sale?
I get about $500 per sale.
Okay, so like 500. And of those 23, like how many do you feel like are closable? Because like some of them, not going to be able to close, but of those 23, how many do you feel like is closable?
Man, at least like 10, at least.
At least. What would be like if you had the skill set to build that urgency, what would be the most you feel like are actually closable?
Hmm. Like 13 to 15, like about that out of those
Okay.
23.
It's like 15, right? So if we're talking
Hmm.
about if we're doing that per week, then that's making 7,500 per week that we could be making. And right
Yeah,
now per week we're making about 1,500. Does that sound right?
right.
So we're leaving each week like $6,000 on the table.
Yeah.
Not super great at math, dude, but if we do that per month, we're leaving about $24,000 on the table. Does that look right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to assume because like I do my sales, I don't do yours. But you hopping on these calls, being scared of, asking the right question and just getting hammered with objections at the end. Like, how does that feel, dude?
Not good. It's like I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. But day after day, you feeling like you're not knowing what you're doing. Like, what's that actually doing to you?
Um, I feel like it just leads me to like maybe not even do sales anymore. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
like it's for me, like type of thing. Like
Okay.
sometimes I think of that.
And are you okay feeling that way? Because you could be.
I don't want to feel that way. I mean, I like what I do. It's
Yeah. Just what?
just like I just got to get better. Like to be able to actually
Yeah.
close some of these deals.
Yeah. And I can appreciate that, man. But besides obviously like wanting to get better, I guess like what would be the main reason you'd be looking for like outside help to help you streamline that rather than just like hope and pray you figure all this shit out on your own?
Yeah, I've been doing it for the past 2 months. It's not working.
Yeah. So then for you, as far as it not working, let's say we do get it working, where are you actually looking to be like each and every month consistently in terms of like the actual commissions you have coming in?
I want to get to 20 grand per month consistently.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to change that want into a need?
What do you mean?
Well, do you know the difference between a want and a need?
Uh, yeah, I mean, like a need is like something that you like have to have. A want's just something
Yeah.
I'd like to have, right?
Yeah, it's like, a want is if it's convenient. Do you
Mm.
feel like you being able to get to the point where you're making 20,000 per month, like that's just going to be convenient?
Yeah, no, it won't be.
Right. So the need is I'll do whatever it takes. So would you be willing to change that want into a need?
Yeah,
Why would you?
because I mean, like not being at 20 grand per month,
Mhm.
it just leads me away from like doing the things that I want to be doing.
Yeah, man. Because what are you currently at the moment? What
I'm
did you
at
do
about
last month?
like, yeah, last month it was like about six.
Okay. So 6 to 20. And
Hmm.
before we started talking, besides just going through the free stuff, like what have you been doing about getting advanced training, getting actual help so you can be making 20,000 per month?
Nothing major, really just like
Mhm.
YouTube stuff. That's
Why
about
not?
it. Just like the funds. Really just like it's like I know it's expensive, so like not really looking
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean?
Well, when you say expensive, because everyone's a little bit different, like what do you mean by that exactly?
Like they're all like usually pretty expensive, coming to like, like 8, 10 grand for like a
Yeah.
training, right?
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion around that, man?
Yeah.
My favorite quote is by Tony Robbins, right? You heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, life coach guy worth like $1 billion.
Right.
It goes, people's biggest superpower is their ability to be resourceful. Most people are just resourceful on how they can't be resourceful. You get where I'm coming
Mm.
from?
Yeah.
So what's prevented you from actually getting resourceful if we know and we've been in pain? for the past couple months losing out on these sales?
I guess it's just like risking like that money and not getting a return.
Yeah. Well, how would you know you want to get a return if you don't try?
It's a great question. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
So what's prevented you from at least going out and trying?
hmm, I guess like nothing's been preventing me. It's just like fear of,
Yeah. Dude, there's no judgment on my end, right? I've been in your shoes before. Like I get it. I'm not gonna take that away from you.
yeah.
But where do you feel like this fear actually comes from? Like if we've been in pain for the past couple months, we know we're leaving sales on the table. Like where do you feel like this fear is coming from?
I don't know, maybe like in, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you thought about it, man.
Where does fear come from? I mean, I feel like it could be coming from like just not having,
Mhm.
like, just like maybe like not believing myself that I could actually like get the training done. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it, man. And that fear of you not knowing or not believing in yourself, like what do you feel like it's actually cost you these past couple months?
Definitely cost me what, like 14 grand every single month.
Yeah. And then how many months have we been doing this and feeling this way?
In total,
Mhm.
about 4 months.
Right. So 4 months times 14,000. So we left $56,000 like on the table.
I mean, I guess you could call it that, yeah.
You want to double check the numbers?
No, I mean, I don't want to.
Those numbers check out.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to, do you feel like it's worth you holding on to your fear and you paying life $56,000 every 4 months due to this fear?
I don't think it's worth it, no.
Why not?
Because that's what I could be getting if I just let go of this fear.
Yeah, man. And the reason why I ask is at the end of the day, dude, like, yes, it's learning the skills, but
Mm.
it's also about you being a better person. Because if you give somebody the perfect diet plan in the world and they
Yeah,
don't have the right mentality to use it, like, what type of results are going to get?
not good ones.
Jack shit, right? So
Right.
for you, being that sales guy who makes 20,000 per month, like, dude, you got to walk that. You have to
Hmm.
have a different level of confidence about you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Just right now, we're the guy who makes 6,000. Is that right?
Hmm.
So I have to ask, man, like, are you okay continuing to be the person you have been? Because you are. I'm the first one to tell you, man, just keep doing what you're doing.
No,
Okay. Why not?
I want to change. I want to become that 20,000 per month guy.
Yeah. And in order to change, like, things have to die off. We have to let go of things.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing you feel like you actually have to let go of in order to grow into that 20,000 per month guy?
I have to let go of that fear.
Yeah. But what if you don't? What if you hold on to this fear and we stay that 6,000 per month guy for the rest of your life? Like, how's that going to feel?
Depressing.
Yeah. Depressing in what way?
Because it's just like I'm just staying at this place where it's like that's just average, in my opinion. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to be average.
Why are you not okay being average, man?
Because I mean, average just gets you like average results, like you drive an
Yeah.
average car, average
Yeah.
life.
And some
It's
people are
not
fine with that. Why aren't you?
because I don't want that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I want the nice car, the nice
Yeah.
house.
No, I get it, man. So it's like ultimately, because like money, it's just a vehicle.
Hmm.
So us coming in, getting you 20,000 per month. At the end of the day, it's just numbers in a bank account. It's like what it does for you. So
Yeah.
for you to go from 6,000 to 20,000, like what difference does it actually make?
Definitely a boost in confidence,
In
right?
what way?
Like Now I'm like walking around like, yeah, I am like that's a guy who makes 20 grand per month. Like I do that.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. What else does it actually allow you to do that maybe you can't do now?
Probably drive the car that I want.
What car do you want?
Be specific. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
like I want like a C63 like AMG. Like that's what I want.
Okay. Is there a certain color or like
Like matte
what are you
black.
thinking? Matte black.
Matte
Why
black.
matte black?
I thought it was always like a Batman color, you know? It's like
Yeah, no, it's
it's
good,
tough.
man. Right? So it's like, okay, get the car. Is there anything else that you're like, okay, 20,000 a month like really allows me to do this?
Uh, like get the car, maybe get like a watch too.
So get some of the luxuries.
Like get like some luxuries like
Yeah.
it's really like I feel like behind it all it's like
Uh-huh.
status, right?
Yeah. When it comes to status, man, because everyone's a little bit different. Where do you feel like that drive comes from, or why is that so important to you to like, have the nice car, have the nice watch?
Well, it's like, status, I don't want to say it's what brings you value, but it's like what makes you stand out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, why
Look,
is it so important to you to stand out, dude?
cause like I want people to like know who I am, like, oh, like what does
Yeah.
he do? Like stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah. So then you having the watch, the car, the status, like what does that actually do for you personally when you're actually standing out like that?
Makes me feel good.
In what way?
Like getting the recognition that like I want to be getting.
Yeah. So if you had to sit and you had a picture in your mind, right? Like you
Hmm.
go into the car dealership, you pick out the AMG matte black,
Yeah,
get the keys, you take it off the lot, windows down, sun on your face, wind blowing through your hair. Like at that moment, dude, like how does that feel?
feels really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. But with what you're currently doing now, with just a skill set you do have, what's the likelihood you're going to be able to get those keys and take that drive?
Unless I go into crazy debt, not close at all.
Why not?
Just because I don't have the skill set to actually make that, like to make the
Yeah,
20 grand to do that.
yeah, dude. And I can definitely appreciate that, man. Can I share a quick story?
Yeah,
Because I would say I see a lot of myself like 5 years ago and like where you're at now.
yeah.
A lot of the same, like, I wanted the nice things. I really wanted things that, like I was running towards. And it pushed me and it'll push you so far.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't until I had to sit and take a look at what I was
Hmm.
running away from that really kicked it into that next gear that
Yeah.
made it to where like it became a need rather than just a want. Because for me, like I grew up in a small town, right? So it's like I'm
Hmm.
definitely scared of being average. Like it scares the fuck out of me. And I had to have the conversation with myself that if you don't take action, if you don't do everything in your power possible to make as much money as you need to, then you're going to have the same pain that your dad had in his voice every time as a kid he told you you couldn't have something.
Hmm.
Or you're going to have the pain that he still has to this day of all the risk he should have took, but he didn't. And you'll
Hmm.
have regret. So I got to ask you, man, if we don't do anything about this, if we keep on being the person we have been, holding on to this fear, a month, 3 months, 12 months down the line, like what's going to happen?
Nothing good. I mean, nothing's gonna change. I won't get better, right?
Yeah. But again, lots of people stay the same. For you, what would be the day to day ramifications a year from now? We continue to hold on to this fear and be that 6,000 per month guy.
Probably regret
Okay.
like not taking action like sooner to actually
What, what,
fix that.
what does regret look like for you?
I mean, like how it looks, I feel like I can't see it, but it's like a feeling, like that gut feeling, like, ugh,
Yeah.
like
And are you willing to allow that regret to come up?
no,
Okay. Why not?
I don't want to feel that feeling.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, we don't sell magic pills.
Right.
It's really about drawing a line in the sand and committing, like, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes so I
Hmm.
never feel that regret. Is that something you're willing to do?
Yeah.
But why now, though? Like, why not be that guy who's just like, new year, new me? We just kick it down the road because you could.
I mean, I could, but it's at the end of the day, if like I just continue kicking it down the road, it's like that person who always starts their diet on Monday. It's like they comes
Yeah.
Monday and they never start.
Yeah. You don't want to be that guy, do you? Okay.
Never.
So time to make a change then, dude. Because I
100%.
mean, based off what you're telling me, especially when you're talking about actually learning the skills to build urgency and
Hmm.
not fall into the trap of falling into objections,
Yeah.
what we're doing would definitely work for what you're looking for. So if I help,
Hmm.
I can take you through exactly like how that process works and how we can get to
Yeah.
20,000 per month. Like, would that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have a pen and paper, Andy?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So what I want you to do is mark it one, two, and three.
Okay.
First and foremost, how did the process feel, man?
What do you mean?
Like the sales process we just went through, discovery. How'd it feel?
I mean, I didn't even realize the process. It just felt good.
Yeah. Right? Do you want to be able to sell like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, because like step number one is how do we actually get a structure in place? Because you know how you
Yeah.
said right now, just because we don't know exactly what to say, we're having a hard time building urgency or we're fearful we're going to ask the wrong questions.
Yeah.
So I give you the exact structure you need to use to actually get to the real pain points in your prospects. So that way you can build that urgency and you don't fear asking the wrong questions. Now, what I'm going to teach
Yeah.
you to do is how do you tap into people's identity? Okay. Now, why identity is so important because which do you feel like is more powerful of a lever? Especially if you're talking to business owners, they want to be the business owner, right? That is the best, that as a lever, or they just want an additional 20 to 30,000 per month. Like, which do you feel like you'll have more leverage?
Probably being the best.
Why do you think so?
I mean, like, it's a lot of emotion behind being like the best. Like, kind of how I was
Yeah.
saying, like, status and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, right. So just like the conversation we had, being able to tap into that identity and create an
Uh-huh.
identity gap to create more urgency. So I'll teach you exactly how to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this course modules take you through the entire structure. Okay.
Hmm.
Number two is going to be group training. Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, I said right now, again, just being able, we're not knowing what to say when we come to objections or when it comes to the process. So, what you'll do is we'll hop on 3 sessions each and every week, specifically going over the structure, going over objections, and then me actually sitting down and listening to your calls. Group sessions
Hmm.
are really good because you get multiple points that you're going to be able
Yeah.
to get feedback. You can hop on, learn from other people as well. But then
Yeah.
that way, again, you get that process in place, get that feedback so you can start to get to the point where you're making 20,000 per month. Make sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Last, one-on-ones and accountability. Before we do get to that point, are you actually open to being held accountable?
I mean, like, how do you mean?
Well, everyone's a little bit different, right? Like, are you open to somebody holding you accountable to make sure we reach 20,000 per month?
Yeah. I mean, like, I would really appreciate it.
Why?
Because, I mean, like, if I don't have, like, the skill set now to be able to do that, I mean, like, I feel like I would need someone else to kind of, like, put that pressure
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah, and really as a coach, it's my job to tell you what you need to hear, not always tell you what you want to hear. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I'll be doing. We'll have one-on-one sessions each month
Hmm.
where we'll specifically pick out what your lowest hanging fruit is and
Hmm.
really work on that. So it's going to be customized to you. You also
Yeah.
have unlimited access to me on Slack. So any questions you have, you can shoot them over right away. And then
Hmm.
from there, I'll be checking in on you. We'll be looking at the data and I'll be pushing you to make sure we get to 20,000 as quick as possible. Do you see how that can be helpful?
Yeah, I can see that would be really helpful.
Yeah. So any questions on how the structure works? Okay. The structure, group coaching, and then one-on-one and accountability.
Like for the group coaching, like is
Mhm.
it like a bajillion people? Like, are you actually able
Nah,
to
no,
talk to everyone, or
it's
is
small
it?
group. Yeah, so it's small group. Typically the calls run an hour, but it's like half the time I'll stay on an extra 30 minutes or an hour just to, if somebody wants to stay on and ask questions, I'll be there until everyone's question is answered. So, but typically they
Okay,
just run an hour.
okay, cool. Because like there was like times before where like I heard like there was like some sales training where it's like 100 people on like a training
Yeah.
call. It's like how
No,
are you
like
supposed to
in
even?
And I'm very intentional because like each client I do bring on, again, with the one-on-one sessions and me like reviewing their calls and unlimited
Yeah,
access to me, it does like at least take up an additional like 3 hours or so like per week. of my time. So it's like I'm like limited on how many people I can bring in. So
Like
it's
just
never going to
onboarding?
grow. Yeah, just how many clients I can bring in, right? Like I'm never going
Okay.
to grow it to the point where you're not going to be able to get the support you need. And it's very intentional that way,
Okay.
right? So any other questions on that?
To be honest, no.
Okay. Well, do you feel like with the structure and everything I did lay out and me giving you that hands-on help that you're needing to get the structure in place, build the urgency, do you feel like that would actually get you to the point where you could be making 20,000 per month?
Yeah,
Why do you feel like it
definitely.
would?
I mean, like I have the structure now, right? Like the foundation to the house, right? Like
Yeah.
tapping into people's identity, which is something I feel like I should definitely be doing more. Like the group trainings, the one-on-one, like the accountability is a big one as well. Like just all of
Yeah.
that.
No, dude. Sounds good, man. Well, it looks like we went over everything you're actually looking for to get you to the point where you can build urgency, get you to 20,000 per month. So as far as like the actual investment, in order to get there, the investment
Uh-huh.
required is going to be 8,000. So that
Hmm.
is going to be, and the length of time to get you to the point where you're making 20,000 per month is going to be 4 months. Okay.
Hmm.
So there are a couple different ways to break it up. It's going to depend on what works best for you, but the next
Yeah.
steps are pretty basic, taking care of the investment, getting you set up with an onboarding. So that way we can hop on our one-on-one session and we can start working on how to ask the right questions, how not to be fearful in our sales call, and how to actually start overcoming these objections. Any questions on how that works?
Like no questions, but it's just like, damn, 8 grand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, would that work for you?
Like it would, but it's just like I'm just a little, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what's coming up for you, man? Like again, like we're on the same team here.
Like I don't want to say like I don't want to say scared, but I feel like I'm a bit scared. Like what if the accountability isn't there? Like I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And dude, I can get where you're coming from. If you just put money aside for a second,
Yeah.
like would you do it?
Yeah.
Why would you do it though?
I mean, I see like what you laid out, like this would
Well,
work.
with again, like take the program out of it. Like, why would you actually invest in yourself to make sure you can make more money, you get the status and everything you're looking for?
If I don't, who's gonna do it?
Yeah. But why would you do it though?
So I could get better.
Right. So it just comes down to can I make a suggestion? Because I can get you're a bit fearful.
Yeah.
Like, which do you feel like is riskier at the end of the day? Do you continue to hold on to this fear like we have been, and we
Hmm.
continue the same cycle that we have been for the past
Yeah.
4 months? Or we shape this fear, we take action, we bet on ourselves, so that way we can actually change what we're doing. Like, which one do you feel like is actually riskier?
Just waiting and not taking action.
Why?
Because if that's the case, I'm just gonna continue leaving, 14 grand on the table each and every
Yeah.
single month.
Well, what happens if you continue to leave the money on the table?
Nothing good. It's just I'm staying where I am.
Yeah. And how are you going to get out of staying where you're at if you don't learn the skills to actually start making the commissions and start creating urgency in your uh, prospects?
I guess I'll never learn. But like,
But do you want to stay in that cycle?
no.
So why right now are you choosing it?
I think it's really just because I'm scared. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
just lose on 8 grand.
And I can appreciate that there's a bit of fear there. Because like I've been in your seat before, so there's no judgment on my end. But when it comes down to fear, there's really two types of fear. It's like we're a deer in the headlights. So
Hmm.
it's like right now we're crossing the road, and then the headlights are coming towards us, of us staying the same, us being average.
Yeah.
And we can either freeze up, let it hit us, or we can use that fear to get out of the way. Which one would you rather do?
I want to get out of the way.
Okay. Why?
If I don't, I'm gonna get hit.
Okay. What happens if you get hit?
I just continue being who I am, like average, just
Yeah. And it's like, and now you're being real.
yeah.
And I appreciate that, dude. Like, dude, money, that's the easy part. We can figure that stuff out. The hard part is just you committing to not being that guy who's average. The
Hmm.
hard part is you committing to being the best version of yourself. So
Yeah.
are you actually committed?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're committed, man, we can figure it out. Let's not focus on what we can't do. Let's focus on what we can do. Like bills, expenses aside, like what are you actually working with? And we can see like how can we make this work for you?
I mean, I could put down like 4 grand
Okay. Can you do five?
and 45 maybe.
Okay. Well, dude, if you can do 45, here's what we can do. We can split it into two payments to where we can do
Hmm.
45 now and then 35 in 30 days. Like, would that help?
That honestly relieve a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, 45 now, 35 in 30 days. Like, that would fit in your budgetary restraints.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. That fits in your budgetary restraints, dude. And we're actually committed to, like, not be the person we have been. What do you feel like we need to do now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's fucking do it, dude. Sign you up. Just need a little bit of info from you, and then we get everything all set up and we get your first one-on-one booked.
All right. Let me get my cord.
Hopefully, you found that sales call helpful. If you did, like and subscribe. And if you want to learn one on one from me on how you can actually tap into prospects' identity so you can start closing 50 to 90% of the sales calls you have, check out the first link in the description. And if you want to learn more about how to sell to people's identity so you can make $40,000 per month as a closer, go ahead and check out this video right here. See you guys next time.